So I'm going to create a dumb wall, and a dumb wall works by having several modifiers applied to it, which essentially turn it into a wall as you can see here. And if I extrude it a few times and join it together, I've created a funny shaped room. I've got a few snaps enabled, which allow me to place a door exactly where the wall is. If I click the wall and then click on the door, I can go and add an opening. Now, in order to create a drawing, I first need to go and create an IFC project. So I'll take my door and my wall and place it on the ground floor of my building and export the file, which I will call test. This will automatically add it to the drawing output IFC files, which allow it to be detected when creating a drawing. Now, in the BlenderBIM tab, I can go and create a new drawing, which essentially creates a camera slightly above the origin point. So if I move that and scale it down, this gives me something akin to a plan view, which I can then go and create a drawing, and you can see the output here. The shortcuts I'm using is taken from the add opening here, as well as in the camera properties, create drawing. So you'll notice that it created a SVG drawing of my wall and door, but the door is not rendered, but instead shows an annotation symbol. And you can access that by clicking on the door and going to the object properties and clicking on IFC representations, and you can see it has a plan, annotation, plan view. And you can see that the camera itself also is set to plan view, and so in that way it knows that it needs to display this particular type of annotation instead of the 3D view of the object. Therefore, if I create another drawing, and this time, this particular drawing, I will turn into an elevation. So I'll move that out and scale that down. And this one would be an elevation, and therefore it will not show the door swing symbol and instead show the full door, as you can see here. If I wanted to now, I can go back to my plan view and start adding in or drawing in more walls. So for example, if I snapped over there and added in a new wall, I can go and snap that to the end, as well as add a grid. So if I added a grid at the origin, that will create a particular grid at a particular spacing, which I'm just going to arbitrarily snap at the walls. And I might also pull these grids in because they are extending far past the drawing boundaries. And now I'm going to place this grid in the building object because it applies to that building, and finish categorizing the new wall that I have added, and go and re-export my IFC file. Now, in order for grids to show up, I also need these grids to be explicitly placed inside the view. So I will place that in this IFC view drawing 1 object. And now if I create a new drawing, you can see that the grids have shown up. They're cut off a bit, but that's okay. I can either solve that by increasing the camera scale so I can see more of the drawing, or by changing the extent of the grid lines. The materials also are stored in the SVG file. So if I change that to concrete and this to brick, so if I now export this file with the new materials that are being set, I can recreate the drawing, and now there is hatching being applied as appropriate. I can continue to add dimensions as I need. And I'm just using the standard snap tools that are built into Blender and move them in. And I might create some internal snaps as well, just to give an example of what you can do. And there you go. We have some, well, clearly we need to move it, but we have a drawing being created. So each camera comes with various drawing styles, and there's 3 that come by default: a technical view, a shaded view, as well as the Blender default. So for example, if I wanted to, I can create a 3rd drawing, and let's say I wanted this particular drawing to be an axonometric. I can go and zoom that in, and I can say that this particular drawing, let's say, is going to be an elevation view and a shaded view, and if I press activate and then view it, you can see it's created a shaded drawing. These drawing styles are remembered for each drawing view, so you can switch between them and see how your drawing needs to be. You can also change the aspect ratio of the drawings by going to the raster X and raster Y view. So if I adjust these, you can see that it's changing the aspect ratio of the created raster drawing. Once I've done that, I can also add a sheet, and there's 3 default title blocks, but you can add your own. If I press Add Sheet, select the drawing I'm interested in, press Add Drawing to Sheet, and press Create Sheets, you can see it's created a PDF with the drawing placed onto the sheet. You can change the styles for this at any time or the application used to open it by going over here.